Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. So I posted a video a few weeks ago talking about some of the eBay purchases I've been making lately. Well, I've not stopped, and these are in addition to some of those. So today, I want to share with you guys some more DVDs and Blu-rays that I've been picking up off of eBay. I tried to group these into the horror category as best I can. Some are definitely more sci-fi than horror, but I think it'll be fine for what we're going for today. So let's talk through these. There's about 9 or 10 or so here today, so not a huge stack, but I have another one over there for a future video. So I was actually just going through all my stacks, so many to get through yet. But anyway, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right into another eBay haul. As I mentioned, the term horror is going to be very loosely used throughout this video, but the first one here I actually showed recently in a video because I picked it up on VHS. Actually, it was very recent. I showed it in a thrift store haul. But anyway, I ordered Duel on DVD, and this one was a really good price. I'm not going to remember the prices on virtually any of these, but I know I didn't pay a lot, otherwise they wouldn't be in the collection. So yeah, so now I have this one on VHS and DVD. I actually ordered this DVD quite a long time ago now, and I picked up the VHS much after that, but I couldn't pass that up. That was just too cool to find in the wild. So yeah, this thing is in great shape, fortunately, and so yeah, I grabbed it. It's supposed to be like Jaws, but on the land with cars. So I mean, that sounds interesting enough to me. But yeah, Steven Spielberg's directorial debut. This is of course available on 4K now as well, but I'll stick with the DVD. I think I've seen this one. I may have mentioned this in the thrift store haul. I really think I've seen this one, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll see. It'll feel like a first time viewing either way, I'm sure. This is Duel. This next one is a double feature where I needed 50% of the movies on here, half of them. The other one I have on multiple formats behind me and over in my Scream Factory shelf, but I got April Fool's Day and My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine is one of my favorite slashers from the 80s. I find it super underrated, at least it used to be. I feel like it's gotten a lot more love now since the Scream Factory release, but the reason I bought this was for April Fool's Day, which somehow I didn't have in the collection at all. That really threw me for a loop. I've seen both of these movies, obviously. April Fool's Day I've only seen once, and I remember really enjoying it. It has one of those kind of crazy endings to it that you might not expect. But I grabbed the double feature because it was cheaper than buying than buying April Fool's Day alone. And you can't see it is a flipper disc, but that's fine by me. I really don't care. So yeah, that's why I grabbed the double feature as opposed to just grabbing it standalone because it was cheaper. And I know this one is also available through Scream Factory Blu-ray, but this was cheaper, so I ended up going with this route. If I find the Blu-ray down the road cheap, I'll definitely upgrade. But yeah, I love both of these movies. Highly recommend both if you haven't seen either. This is My Bloody Valentine and April Fool's Day. Here's one that's been on my wish list for a very long time, and I decided I'm not going to find it in the wild, so I might as well just grab it off of eBay. So that's what I ended up doing. Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever. And actually, this one came with the slipcover, which is pretty darn cool. You can see right there, though, it says 2-day rental. So clearly this is a previous rented copy, but that's fine. The disc itself looked totally great, so that's what matters most. But yeah, this was the only one in the franchise that I didn't have. I had the original, of course. I saw that one in theaters, and I've seen it multiple times since. But I didn't have the sequel. I do have, I don't think it's called Cabin Fever 3. Is it Cabin Fever 0, maybe? A prequel, and then the remake as well, which the remake's like shot for shot, basically. Not that good, but I have that one thanks to my inherited movies. So yeah, now I have the full Cabin Fever collection, which just makes me happy. This is Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever. Speaking of random sequels, I didn't even know this one existed. I want to give credit to Neil over at Neil's Movie Channel. I feel like he talked about it in his DVD collection video, possibly. So that shows you how long this one has been in my collection because he posted the letter F quite a long time ago. But I found Firestarter 2 Rekindled on DVD. Now, this one is actually a made-for sci-fi movie, and I've not heard great things about it, but it has Malcolm McDowell in it, so I definitely want to check this out. Now, actually, I've not even seen the original Firestarter yet, but that's fine. I will correct that. There's this and, of course, the remake, or the original and the remake as well, which I've seen none of them, and I've not read the Stephen King book, but again, I will correct that at some point. This one just looks interesting, and so that's why I had to grab it. It's one of those sequels that, like, how have I not heard of this? And so because of that, I was super intrigued by it, so I had to grab it. We have Firestarter 2 Rekindled. This is actually one of my more recent pickups. I just got this one the other day. It is a home invasion thriller that I'd never heard of before. It's another YouTube video I was watching. It's somebody that I don't actually subscribe to. It was just like a random recommendation in my feed about movies that were not available on Blu-ray. And this, Restraint, was one of those. Actually, I need to get a new case for it. I just noticed that. But yeah, this is, like I said, a home invasion movie that is supposed to be really good. It has Teresa Palmer in it, who I've, recognize. You probably do as well from other things. I can't place it right this second, but I know her from something else. And yeah, it's supposed to be pretty darn good for what it is, and I am a huge home invasion fan. It is one of my favorite subgenres of horror, which is a video I've been meaning to do for the longest time, talking about like my top 5 subgenres of horror. But anyway, Restraint is now in the collection, and it looks like a ton of fun. This one, unfortunately, the disc on this was not in the best shape, so I did like rip it to my computer just to make sure that it was going to work, and fortunately it does. But yeah, this is Restraint. You know what? I'm lying. This is not an eBay purchase. I actually grabbed this one used off of Amazon Marketplace. That literally just hit me as I'm filming here. So I'm a dirty liar, but this movie still looks like a lot of fun, and I'm happy to have Restraint in the collection. The last DVD in today's pile is one I'm most excited about because I remember renting this from Blockbuster back in the day. They used to do a like Blockbuster Pass. I don't know what it was called, but I remember getting it in the summer between like, some of my years in high school. And this was one that I rented at that point, and I was watching a ton of horror movies at that time. But this is The Eye. And it is a Asian horror film that, like I said, I remember really liking. Now, it has been a long time since I've seen this. This was probably a pretty new release back when I watched this. Let me see, what year? 2002? Yeah, it looks like maybe the DVD came out in 2003, so it would have been right around there when I ended up renting this one from Blockbuster. But of course, there is the Americanized remake of this with Jessica Alba. I have that behind me. If I remember right, this one is significantly better, but as soon as I saw this cover, I don't know what I was watching or going through, but as soon as I saw this cover, all the nostalgic feels came back to me because I just remember this so vividly. This is a really cool movie that I cannot wait to revisit. So definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it, but take that with a grain of salt because it has been almost probably 20 years since I've watched it, but I remember liking this one better than the American version. So this is the original version of The Eye. All right, let's move over to the Blu-rays today. And again, I'm stretching the definition of horror here, probably more sci-fi than anything, but this is actually a Scream Factory pickup, Alien Outpost, another one that has been on my wish list for a very long time that I said, screw it, I'm just picking it up off of eBay because I'm not finding it out in the wild. And yeah, this looks awesome. Speaking of favorite subgenres, this one is found footage, which is why it's been on my wish list for so long. And I cannot wait to see what this one is all about. So this actually technically, I think, takes place in the future. Yeah, this is a 2013 film, and it takes place in 2021 when aliens are invading. So cannot wait to see this one. I love found footage, just like Home Invasion, so this was a really cool ad for the collection, and one finally that is now here because, like I said, I've been looking for this one for a long time. This is the Scream Factory release of Alien Outpost. I probably can't count this one as horror at all, but it's horrific, the idea behind it at least. We have Contagion, another one that has been on my wish list for quite some time that I said, screw it, I'm just buying it because for whatever reason, I used to find this Blu-ray in stores all the time at my local disc replays. They had, at Disc Replay, they'll stack up some movies facing out that they have a lot of copies of, and I swear this one was always that way. Well, ever since I decided I wanted to revisit it, I just can't find it. And so I don't know what the deal is. This, of course, does have a 4K release, but I don't remember loving this movie when I watched it the first time. This is a Steven Soderbergh film, I should also mention. And like I said, I watched it once. I don't remember loving it, but of course that was before the pandemic hit. And so I'm very curious to see how I'm going to appreciate this maybe on a different level now that I've lived through the pandemic. So very intrigued to revisit this, and I got this for a lot cheaper than I would have if I grabbed the 4K release. So happy to have Contagion in the collection now. Last but not least, and I sound like a broken record, but another one that's been on my to-get list, and I knew I wasn't going to find this one because, as far as I know, the US release is actually out of print, and it is very expensive, and I just didn't think I was going to get lucky with it. So instead, I turned to eBay and found the Region B release of an excellent horror film, Blue Ruin. Now, I think he's, I can't remember his name right now. Am I going to find it quickly here? Jeremy Saulnier. I think he's better known for The Green Room, which is, again, an awesome movie. But my first experience with him as a director was with Blue Ruin. This is such a great revenge flick. I cannot recommend it enough. Now, hopefully you have a Region B player, because if so, this was like $12 versus the Region A release, which is well over $100, at least at last check. So this is such a great movie. I watched this once and I loved it. And ever since then, I thought, man, I need to get that on Blu-ray. And it just hit me again recently that, like, I've been looking for it forever. Just buy it. I don't know why. Actually, this has sat in my eBay cart for a while as well. And I finally said, you know what? Just do it. So Blue Ruin is now in the collection, and this is such a great movie. If you liked The Green Room, you're probably going to enjoy Blue Ruin as well. I don't know which one I liked more at this point. I'd have to revisit them and compare them, but I just know I loved both of them, and that's good enough for me. So the last one for today's haul is Blue Ruin, and again, this is the Region B release of this Blu-ray. All right, so that is a stack of, what's here, 9, I think? Is that right? Somewhere around there, of some recent eBay purchases, and I have another stack over there of 9, plus a whole bunch of 3D Blu-rays that I'm going to share with you guys, a lot of which I grabbed off of eBay as well. So I've been going eBay crazy lately. I've actually, the last few weeks, I've toned it down a little bit, but it's just been fun. It's been a lot of fun picking these things up off eBay. I've been really focusing on items on my wish list that have been on there for a long time that I've just never seen in the wild. So that's why I've been grabbing some of these ones. But I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. Have you seen any of these? Are you a big Blue Ruin fan like I am? Do you have the out-of-print version? I'm super jealous if you do, but let me know what you guys think about this pile and anything else down in the comments. I appreciate any and all support down there. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Before you take off, go ahead and smash that like button. I don't know why I said smash that. That just came out. But hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Before you go, I will just encourage you all to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.